Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to this week's podcast. Thank you all so much for those of you who checked out the first one. I think it went relatively well, so let's just keep going. We're going to dive right in. So we're just going to pick up where we left off last week with the story of me reaching a LEGO Dark Age. So as I mentioned in the last podcast, I went off to college and I had a bunch of pre-recorded videos, so I thought it'd be really easy to transition and just get in the groove of the LEGO thing in school. But I quickly realized that it wasn't that easy. And what I don't mean that meaning that it was difficult to make YouTube videos, because that's not what I mean. I'm a fairly good filmmaker. I would say I can make good videos. But just for me to find the time to sit down and want to do editing for those videos was hard to come by, because the thing that makes college so different from my life back home is that in college I'm living in a dorm with 400, 500 other guys, and I'm friends with a bunch of them. There's 2 other dorms full of girls that I'm friends with, and you just realize that, hey, this time where I would just be home, with my friends all living like 20 minutes away or whatever, now I'm like done school for the day, I'm done my work, and I'm come back to the dorm. And what's interesting is I'm a very social person. I love being around people. So for me, if I had to choose between spending a night how I used to spend nights back at home working on LEGO videos or out all night with friends, it's a no-brainer. I definitely much rather prefer being out with friends. And that made the process of making YouTube videos harder to do because there was just less time. And remember, this time I'm just editing. All I'm doing for the videos is editing them. So that became more difficult, and I actually ended up getting to the point where when I did sit down to edit the videos, I didn't enjoy editing them, because I would throw them onto Filmora and I'd edit. And I'm going to do a separate podcast someday talking about Wondershare Filmora, because they are an amazing company. But it wasn't working for me because I'm sick of editing the white background. It's too cliche, The content I was putting out, it was all stuff that I threw together in 2 weeks to have a bunch of videos. So it was all videos, nothing new, nothing really that sparked the interest of either me or the fans. And editing on Filmora just wasn't working for me anymore, because I'm a film major. I'm literally a film major. I paid $300 for Final Cut Pro, one of the best purchases I've ever made. But then I'd still log on to Filmora to edit the YouTube videos, because my goal for the longest time, which is actually pretty stupid thinking about it now, was that if I edit all my YouTube videos on Filmora, they'll find out, because I put it in the video description and they're like crediting them. They'll find out and want to sponsor me. That was kind of like my mindset. So that's why I kept editing with them. And it got to the point where I stopped liking Filmora because I've used much better stuff. And don't get me wrong, Filmora is great. If you're a kid trying to get into video editing, you might want to check that out. It's pretty good. Not sponsored. Never going to get a sponsorship with them, because I'm done using Filmora. But yeah, so that was kind of like a big setback for me. Just like the fact that I'd rather not be editing the videos, because the content in those videos wasn't really entertaining to me anymore. Like, I stopped caring about, my beach mock or my Expecto Patronum review or Hungarian Horntail review, because that's all old news to me. I was editing stuff that was cool and new 2 months ago at this point, maybe even 3 months ago, and it just on my end made it hard to engage with the content. And I ended up being lazy with the editing. I would throw it together quickly. I'm sure half of them are crap, honestly. I got lazy with the editing, and yeah, so I kind of lost it. I kind of lost that passion, and I actually seriously thought to myself a couple of times, as I'm rushing to edit just so I can put something out for the sake of putting it out, I asked myself, do I want to keep doing this? Because college is a time for change, and maybe it was time to change and really just get out of that. So I asked myself, is this something I want to do? Do I want to keep doing these YouTube videos, or do I want to change? So in my most recent YouTube video, I actually addressed that issue in the video description. And by addressing that issue, it actually changed my whole outlook on everything. And you guys will hear more about that in the 3rd episode of the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. You guys, you're the best fans ever. I'll talk to you all next time.